Hello, welcome to the bonus Special Moves podcast. How's it going, everyone? This one's a bit...
It's going good. I was just itching my eyes, but it looks like
Jake's having a breakdown, but everything's okay. He's all right. It's a bit loose now, isn't it? Because we've done quite a few videos today. So
done a lot.
Yeah,
it feels like a lot because we're packing it in because we had we've got deadlines, innit? We couldn't come over early because Matt was watching the rugby. It was a big moment for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been bigger.
Yeah.
But we don't want to talk about that too much, I guess.
No. Well, I'm never watching rugby ever again.
I've always said it was the lesser sport.
Wales were in the World Cup semi-final against South Africa, and we lost.
Look how well that went. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I was like, it's like, we kind of watch rugby at home if it's on. Like we don't watch it. We keep one eye on it because we know how it's going to affect Mike's mood. Yeah. So it's like, I say that like Mike's a tyrant, but it's not that. But like when we found out that Wales had lost, Sean was like, Mike's going to be.
Don't go today, Jake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was like, all right, and then it's like you have to take a deep breath and think, I'm gonna have to tell him it's all going to be okay. It's not. It's years till the next World Cup. Fucked it. But and you know what? England are in the final as well, isn't it? But,
Yeah, that hurts.
yeah. So
England look good, mate. They beat New Zealand.
Yeah.
Fucking pretty well. So I'm miserable. But then Jake and Liam come over, and then my mood stayed exactly the same.
Oh,
as in the
don't
morning.
say that. It's fucking skyrocketed. We're always a harbinger of the good times. That's what I always like to say. In fact, that's been mine and Liam's slogan.
The harbingers of joy.
Yeah, that's it. That's what people know us as.
That's not what me and Laura call it.
Them fucking lads that come and drink all of our coffee and eat all of our fucking food. Yeah, well, shouts out to you guys for hosting us every time. We've been seeing some film. It feels like ages since we watched The Irishman.
Yeah, It's only a couple of
2
weeks.
weeks,
Isn't it?
I think it's because I was at EGX for like 5 days.
It's been an eventful couple of weeks.
I was home, then I was out again, and I'm home. Yeah, it's just I'm not.
Yeah,
It's because there's been so much in between.
So we caught a sort of early screening, I guess, of The Irishman.
Preview.
It was the UK premiere of Irishman.
Yeah.
It was at the London Film Festival,
But we were not there. We were in my hometown of Bangor, but it was getting live streamed to the sort of cinema here, and they had like a special screening night thing, and it was pretty good. Pretty good to. I mean, not the film. We'll talk about that in more depth than pretty good. I mean, it was pretty good to get to watch the film so early. So it was like normal cinema prices, a little bit more expensive, but
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the premiere of this new Martin Scorsese movie, who's like got this massive prestige behind him. Big cast like De Niro, Pacino, Pesci, and then like the fact that it's coming to Netflix in like a couple of weeks. So if you guys are aware of that, which you probably are, we won't be spoiling it, okay? Because we know that when we talk about films that are already out, then it's kind of like it's up to you whether you want to skip it or not in it. But with this, it's just really arsehole.
So
it's
far
a spoiler
away.
film that's not even out. But it is cool that I guess that happened, and it's something that you see happening more and more. And I don't know if it's the same for the people listening, like especially the people out in the UK. But I know that in the UK recently, you're getting a lot of these where if there's like a one-off event in one place, it's being broadcast to like everywhere else.
It's cool. It's very cool, and it gives you like this feeling of like, it's a one-off opportunity to catch it, and you want to watch it this night, or you're not watching it at all. So we were, I saw the list, because it's my local cinema sort of thing. They just email me stuff because I've been there a few times. Yeah. So it's just like you give them your email address once, and you fucking hear from for the rest of your life. Yeah, exactly. But luckily this time it paid off, and I don't know, it was a pretty exciting little opportunity. So we went to watch it anyway. It's a fucking load of waffle. Do you know what's really interesting? You said it's coming to Netflix. It's got Martin Scorsese, as you said, like absolute cinema royalty, right? Martin Scorsese, Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, like fucking greats, right? The people who are
timers.
Like, no one wanted to make the film, and Netflix went, all right, we'll make it. Because they're old. It's just so weird. And
everyone's like, no one will pay for that budget. Netflix just like, well, let's see.
Let's see if we've got room in our calendar. Well, we're only releasing 8 films this week.
Scorsese said in an interview that
250 million. What's that?
He found it difficult because he was like facing his mortality sort of thing, because he was bringing out the fucking heavyweights, all of the heavyweights, and getting nowhere, and no one was interested in it.
It is a bit of a weird thing that a Scorsese gangster movie couldn't get funding. Yeah. And then Netflix has stepped in. I'm pretty sure Martin Scorsese slagged off Netflix in the past as well, which is quite funny. Yeah. But
he's famously slagged off Marvel recently, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Calling them trash.
Yeah, well,
him and Coppola and
someone else recently.
I think Ken Loach came out and said they're like hamburgers.
Which they are. That's what I've said before.
Yeah.
Me and Ken Loach, two fantastic.
And Francis Ford Coppola and Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, but they didn't say the specific.
Oh, they didn't say the word hamburgers.
Hamburger, because I've said that, haven't I? I've always said about.
You must be a listener. How's it going, Ken?
Yeah. Shouts out, Ken. Listen, you could have done better the past couple of years, but I don't know. What's that film about the Geordie having a heart attack again?
Daniel Blake.
Daniel
It's
Blake.
alright.
I like that.
It was alright.
It's decent. It's a good film.
Anyway,
fuck the Tories.
Nice one, Ken. But the hamburger thing's right, and I think that I don't think that's an insult though, innit? Because if you're going for a burger somewhere, you're not going to get your food critic head on and say the meat was overcooked, the gherkin to ketchup ratio's off, because you're eating a burger. You're not eating a filet mignon or whatever. So just fucking lighten up and enjoy the greasy little burger.
It's a really interesting conversation because I think they're saying that burger exists at the expense of the opportunity to have filet mignon or whatever.
Well, that's the thing. I always think that with Marvel movies, I don't think they're going to ever try and be an alternative to. Well,
no, but they're saying they're sucking the money, and that's where the direction is going.
I guess, but in the same way that fast food restaurants might have impacted local mixed grill joints back in the day, innit? But now what happens is that they adapt around McDonald's, and they make some fucking banging stuff, and then everyone's like, whoa, and then let people who want to have the hamburgers, fine, isn't it? But then people want a real burger, or they want to just, I don't even want to depart from it. They'll go for that shit, and that's what's cool, and that's what I think is like why I always use that food analogy, because it's not an and, it's an or.
Do you know what's actually extra perfect about the food analogy? DC is 100% Burger King as well.
It definitely
do you know what I mean?
Is.
It's definitely is. That holds up so well.
It is definitely the Burger King in the sense that the people that think it's better won't be told otherwise. The people that think Burger King is better than McDonald's is a definite minority. You know what I mean?
Oh, no,
I have to say I'm in that.
Yeah,
I prefer Burger King to McDonald's.
I don't know where I stand on it.
Well,
me
and Liam are the bacon double cheese.
Yeah, I've got a problem with that, haven't I? Because it's a very.
I conceded a little bit. I said I wouldn't mind a bit of
lettuce. Don't give this guy an inch.
There's a huge.
He wouldn't give you one.
There's a distinct lack of salad on that burger, and that's my problem with it. Right. But
salad belongs in a bin, doesn't it?
Do you know what I would buzz off, right? Please, comment section, tell me the best burger. I'm well up for that, Where's the best burger, guys? Don't tell me it's
bacon double cheeseburger.
No,
I do know the best burger I've ever had.
Go on.
It's in a little place in my hometown called the Guildhall Tavern, and it was a black Angus beef burger with 2 rashers of bacon on it, and I can't remember what type of cheese it was.
Yeah.
There wasn't any salad on it though. It didn't come with salad.
Yeah. So fuck Jake.
It did come with a side of salad, just not on the burger.
Yeah.
To me,
optional. And that is honestly the best burger I've ever had.
That's interesting.
It's very
There's no
specific.
sauce on it or anything?
No, literally just cheese, beef, bacon.
Oh, very much like the bacon double cheeseburger, Liam.
Cheese double bacon burger, though.
His best burger is basically the bacon double cheeseburger, but made somewhere that cares about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, made by a nice little pub in my hometown.
I want to, I'm not even going to tell you what my favourite burger is because it doesn't matter. I want to know what everyone else's favourite burger is, and then I can just judge you all, and then just give you all a love heart on the special comment section.
Not even a question, that is the nicest burger I've ever had.
I like it, Liam.
The most satisfying. As soon as I bit into it, I was like, "This is good."
Because you don't need sauce, because grease is the condiment.
Of
choice.
It wasn't dry. It was just the right amount of moist.
Good. Burgers are ace.
I'm not going to say what mine is because it's made me sound like a twat.
Why?
Because it was in France.
Go on.
It was in France. It was in Paris, and it was.
I had a really shit fucking burger in Paris.
This is the best burger of my life. It's a life-changing burger.
What was on it?
It was bread.
Was it just like a regular burger, but just because it was in Paris, it was like really nice? Because you're only going to sound like a twat if
it was
you
the
start
view.
saying it was escargot.
It was all about the view. No, it was amazing, and it did have salad. I'll concede that to you. I had a big old beef tomato.
Yeah.
Had some sauce, which I don't know what it was, but it was kind of.
Some sort of aioli. They're a big fan of that in France.
Oh no, it's
a mayonnaise and oil base.
Peppery, little bit. I don't know. It was really nice, right?
Yeah.
And the meat was just unbelievable. A massive bit of beef, right? But it was really, really tender and.
So not thin, squished down patty, big.
Fuck yeah. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Good
and it's one of them burgers that's very much like Liam. I'm sure it sets a standard, and then you're like, well, this burger isn't that other burger that I had.
I know what you're saying. So when I was in Paris, I had tartare. Yeah, made me sick. I was on a press trip as well.
Minging.
Being sick around everybody. Then on the way back, I was like, I need to have a nice burger in Paris before I go. I ended up going to Five Guys.
Yeah.
Their burgers are nice.
And I had a bit. That was it. Imagine going to Paris and the best burger you had was from Five Guys. Bad, that isn't it? So I need to go back there with a vengeance.
Yeah.
With that, what you've
with
just
a venison.
said in mind. And venison, yeah. My burgers are sick, you know.
Anyway,
the Irishman, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's basically what just happened there is an indication of the pacing of The Irishman, because that's how the movie plays out. People are having conversations
It's
about
not a
meat.
short movie.
People do have conversations about meat in it, actually, isn't it? It's like meat plays a sort of
They do,
key
but
role.
with,
in it.
It is.
with vaguely threatening undertones.
Yeah, and the beef is better than that's something like that, isn't it? Like there's some steak or something at the beginning.
Yeah.
There's some steak, yeah. So it's a long film. It's a very, very long film.
3.5 hours.
It's the longest film I
It's about
think I've
9 hours, I
ever
think.
seen in the cinema.
Yeah. Same here.
Oh no, it did comfortably. As
Longer than Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
Yep.
By like 20 minutes or something. It's long.
Yeah.
Does it feel long? Well,
Yes.
yeah. Does it feel like the longest film? Like when you're watching it, do you think like, boy howdy, this is the longest film I've ever seen in the cinema? No.
Boy howdy.
Yeah, just
To me,
I was going to say wowzers, but I went with boy howdy instead.
It felt about as long as Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Is
Did
how
it?
I felt about. Yeah.
Yes, you definitely knew like a normal
It's in
film
the
would have wrapped
same
up here.
realm, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. For
Although
sure.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is 40 minutes short.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I was fucking loving it. I was just, I
Which is Quentin Tarantino's latest film, in case you
yeah.
didn't. Because some people aren't going to be big film heads here. So I wanted to just...
No, yeah.
I wanna try and
We're
fill
sort
that
of wrongly labelled this as the off-topic podcast, and it's sort of morphed into the film and TV.
If we keep
Well,
moving
did
into
just
the...
have an in-depth conversation about burgers.
Oh, they've had a bit of rugby, they've had a bit of burgers.
So
like,
nothing's
come
off
on.
the
Yeah.
table here.
But I just feel like I need to patronise you all in case some people aren't like... Maybe you don't give a shit about... Once
Well, you
Upon a
just
Time.
might not know.
But
Maybe
just
you
care
fucking
about
love
us.
films. You just haven't.
Maybe you've only just got into
just because you're not checking Reddit every day doesn't mean you don't like films. You know what I mean? It's
Hey, I've got a letterbox to count.
That's sick. Letterboxd is fucking good, you know. That's where I go.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good way of tracking what you've watched. That's it.
I use
really.
tracked.tv.
Always
if someone's
track.tv,
interested.
yeah.
I just use my bad brain. Do you know what?
Exactly.
Do you know what I
Always
did?
reliable.
Do you know what I used, do you know what I did do for a little while? I used to deliberately misuse the IMDb thing, and I would tick things off if I had seen them. So you know, you like
like
you
your
tick
watch
them
list,
like
kind of.
I'll have that on my watch list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I
So you used to watch this as a watched list.
precisely, my friend.
That's
Quite a lot of people do that anyway on IMDb, don't they?
Oh,
They've got,
it's just copying me.
you see lists all the time. It's just someone's
Yeah.
public watch list, but they've called it like
the top 290 films.
exactly
of,
that. Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, let's get on with this Irishman review. Yeah.
I feel like we're good that we're still on for time because we don't want to be talking about what it's about, do we? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. It does feel long. I tell you what is weird though. I was more worried about that in the first hour. You know, I was more like, I'm going to be here for 3.5 hours. Like, do I need a wee? Do I like? Have I got enough beer? Like, I was just
Yeah.
I was genuinely like, I was way more. It took me a long time to like switch off and get into the film.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I think that's
Like
because
when a
it's
cat,
so long.
like circles and scratches its little area before it sits down.
Yeah.
That's what I think a lot of us were like.
Yeah, for sure.
It
Yeah.
took me a while to just like let the film wash over me.
Exactly.
I was so
You know-
aware that I was in a movie. I was going to be there for hours. I've just eaten half my bag of popcorn because like the film didn't start straight away. It was some preamble with some fucking woman
that like red carpet interviews with Scorsese and Pacino and all that.
who all looked as old as I'm sure they feel.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god. I was like,
During that entire like red carpet bit, I kept going, should I go for go to the bathroom again?
Yeah.
Should I go get
Yeah.
a drink?
and then it's like,
That's not in a film, by the way. This
No.
because it was the London Film Festival. We had, instead of trailers, there was a bit of this preamble
Yeah.
from the film festival. So that's what we're talking about there.
Yeah.
But it was a weird one. And even when the film started, there's so many things in a film that you need to like that you need to get over, like in the meta. So you're thinking, that's Joe Pesci. I've not seen him in about 35 years.
And he doesn't look as old as he actually is.
Yeah,
exactly.
And
There's
then,
Robert De Niro, but wait, he looks younger.
yeah, and then there's like how much, and then the first shot of De Niro's like the de-aging thing is the big like talking point around
Yeah,
the film,
yeah.
isn't it? And so all the characters have been like digitally de-aged, but they didn't have any like any shite. They weren't wearing any like masks or dots on their faces or anything. Scorsese wanted a way of doing it so that they could just be
They
themselves.
did it
and act.
all in post.
Yeah. Which is like, so you're setting these high standards and stuff. But then the first shot of De Niro was like, you're like second guessing it. You're like trying to have a look at it, and it's like the way
his
it's lit.
eyes were a bit too blue.
And it just seems a little bit like you're looking at a Red Dead Redemption cutscene where you're like, that looks really good,
but
it's not real.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You are like, I think everybody probably does the same thing. I hope so, because I felt like that was relatable what you said, but some people be like, what the fuck are you on about?
Yeah.
It's Robert De Niro in a truck. Stop being weird.
Yeah.
But you're right, the eyes are too blue. You're looking around there. You're looking at like the face-off scars.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, ooh, is there a bit of blur there? Like it's like you're examining for Photoshop. You know what I mean?
I stopped looking for that quite quickly, I think. Like, within like the first half hour, I didn't really notice any of
which
it.
in the context of a 3.5 hour film,
when they needed to do this de-aging because the film takes place over a 60-year time period or something.
I think
so that explains what's 3.5 hours.
I'm going to say something potentially controversial though. I think it could have been a better film, and it could have been more about the film and less about it's Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro and Al Pacino and all these greats, if they would have just cast a younger version. Of if you had Robert De Niro at certain points, and if you had
just different actors,
and if you had a younger version of De Niro, and just try to find some unknowns or something, or just try and do and it would have been more about the story then. But you had this whole thing of like, these are the greats of
the old boys
70s,
club.
60s,
It was
80s
a little
cinema,
bit of like a sort of
last hurrah.
Yeah, but it felt like very exclusive.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. You could have used this platform of a new film to pave the way for some unknowns, like you're saying, who could have done a great job of acting as a fucking, toothpick chewing mobster. But no, it was the Al Pacino show. It was the Robert De Niro show, and it did. Like, to me, it feels like a film made by fucking old people.
You're the first person who said this, and I wasn't totally conscious of this when I was watching it, apart from the one part where Robert De Niro is meant to be like a 35-year-old man or something, and he has the body of a 85-year-old man.
This isn't a spoiler, right?
This isn't a spoiler.
It's very early on.
It does take you out of it a bit.
Yeah. So he's meant to be like battering the shit out of someone with his de-aged face as a young man, Robert De Niro, but it's just his hand is like glued to his torso in a very like elderly.
He looks like he's conscious that he'll need a hip replacement if he goes any harder.
Yeah, exactly.
And you think that this might be a little bit just up for this podcast. No, honestly, watch it. You'll be like, okay.
And that stood out, didn't it? But then, like as you're saying, like just in terms of sensibilities and everything, it felt like a film made by old men, didn't it?
It does. Like I don't know. I think it feels like a film of the time. It's a bit like this Outer World shit where it's like it feels like time's not moved. Like if this was like apart from the fact that they're dead old, if this was released a year after Goodfellas, everyone would be like, cool, the next film by him.
Everyone would have been like, well, that's remarkably similar to the film that came out last year.
They would actually.
I thought it was a bit of a greatest hits reel for Scorsese as well.
Yeah.
Because it's like it starts out with a very raging bull like monologue from De Niro.
Yeah.
And then it goes into a bit of Goodfellas, and then it keeps like going back and forth, like flash forwards, flashbacks, and it just felt like everything Scorsese had ever made. He was just like, I'm gonna do a greatest hits reel myself.
But then he's not. The thing is, I don't think he's sort of conscious of that at all, because someone said in an interview, and it's about this and about this, and he was like, and it's about violence and the
romance and hope,
romance and the crime doesn't pay, and things he was saying about Goodfellas basically, and then he says, and then the interviewer says, and it's probably it's about aging as well, and he sort of really doesn't like the fact that the guy said it's about aging, even though this is a very strong theme in the story. The whole cast is old as fuck. The director is old as fuck.
Yeah, it feels very unusual if he hasn't thought or noticed that.
Yeah, but it's almost like, I'm not old, you're old. Like, it's that kind of...
Yeah. A lot of the stories are spent on these characters, like, looking forward to their retirement plans.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it did feel like it was made with that in mind, like, written from that perspective. But, yeah, it's quite good, I
thought it was excellent.
I loved it. Having said all of that, it was really good.
I liked it. It took me a while to get into it, and then I was like, where's it going to go, But by the end of it, I was like, I liked what it did. I liked what it did with what it had. And that's sounds like I'm giving you enough, but when you see it, you'll be like, I guess. But
I kept thinking, I was sort of like more about the journey because I know the real life criminal case it's based on.
Yeah.
So I knew what the end point was going to be. So I was just like, sort of like, well, I know how this is going to end up.
Yeah.
I want to see how they get there.
Yeah,
That's what I enjoyed most, I think.
I think I absolutely loved it, and I think I can't remember which one of you sort of disagrees slightly on this, but I thought Al Pacino was really, really good in it.
Me.
I loved Al Pacino.
Yeah, I thought he was good.
Yeah,
Joe Pesci was really good in it, amazingly good. De Niro was like
Joe Pesci was my favourite of the trio.
Definitely.
Yeah, no,
and it's
100%.
not because it's a gimmick that he's in it or it's novelty.
I know he hasn't acted in like 10 years.
Exactly, and it's not like
he fucking nails who he's meant to be.
Honestly, it's I feel like a lot of the people have been given it credit because of reasons other than the film. It looks like when I'm reading what people are saying about it, it's like the action scenes being like finely tuned and spot on. It's like, is it though?
Yeah.
Peter Bradshaw giving it a 5 and shit like that. It's like, bro, come on. But when it's like, it's not a perfect film, I don't think.
No.
It's dead good. But I wouldn't say that Joe Pesci was the best part just because it's exciting to see him back in, which is what I kind of get from when I read these other reviews.
Yeah.
It's like people are giving him some sort of participation award. He is like the best part of the film,
really
I reckon,
good,
by quite a high percentage.
Which is saying something when the other two leads are Robert De Niro and Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I thought there was a few places where Robert De Niro was like just a bit weak, I think. And
Towards the end, some of the subplots towards the end, I think, could have been trimmed a little bit.
Oh yeah, but there's a phone call that De Niro makes at one point in the film, and it's just, you can tell that they would have tried it about 10, 15 times, and he just wasn't getting it, and they just went, all right,
I know the bit you mean.
well done. And there's a few
Time for your
things like
nap.
that. But yeah, Joe Pesci's amazing. I loved it. I came out like my gut thing when I left was like, I really, really enjoyed that. But it's so long, and like I was saying, for the first hour I really struggled to get into it. But once I did get into it, and once I was like, I grabbed hold of all these characters, and I was like, and I started to care about who was doing what, and I was buying into like the sort of little scandals that were happening and stuff. I really, really enjoyed it. The best thing it did, I thought, was just weaving from one thing to the other, weaving from one timeline to the other.
Yeah.
Just work. I mean, it was so easy to follow once I got into it. I knew where I was. I knew what was going on. I knew what people were trying to do. Motivations were. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I think when we left, I said then I was looking forward to watching it again when it comes to Netflix.
Yeah.
Because there's like so much to take in that I can't. I think I'm probably gonna watch it multiple times.
I don't feel like it was wasting much of its time. Yeah,
No.
I feel like it was, because you've got to tell a story over so many years. It did a pretty cool job of meshing together. So yeah, it was good.
It was good. So that was The Irishman.
Where's The Irishman set? In New York.
Philadelphia, I think.
No, right. Shit. Well, that's that one.
There's a bit of travel in there, isn't there? There's a bit of like
do a
road
bit of
tripping.
travelling,
And,
there is,
Yeah,
isn't
they go to.
it does have a little bit of that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They go to Detroit and Florida, I think, at one point.
Yeah.
And there's Globe hops a little bit.
Couldn't remember.
Well, America hops.
yeah, globe as far as the Americans are concerned.
Yeah. Put your maps down, boys. Tell you what, yeah. I was hoping you were going to say New York, because I just wanted to say, give an honourable mention, because I don't think we've put it in our agenda for this week. But listen, for anyone else out there watching Mr. Robot, yeah, isn't it fucking good this season? Best TV of the year.
Tell me more about it.
Mate, it's fucking wild good, man. Like, they're really wrapping the story up. They've introduced this new little potential twist.
Yeah.
They're doing some good shit with this episode.
They brought back some characters from season 1 even.
Yeah, some characters have come back. So this is the final season of Mr. Robot, TV original. I say TV original as in it's not based on a comic book, it's not based on a book, it's not
Completely original premise.
Yes, because even Irishman's based on a book, which is based on real life or something. But like, Mr. Robot kind of it started in 2015. It's about a hacker. Sounds like it could be shit, but it's got this real nice hook to it. Good story, good actors. I think. Well, I know Rami Malek, the guy who plays the main
Oscar
character,
winner.
is that guy who was Freddie Mercury. What was in the Oscars, and also the guy from Until Dawn. You'll know him. He's Egyptian and he's got these big eyes that like bulge out like some sort of insect. Christian Slater's in it.
Yeah.
All of the characters have got these weird, interesting faces, so they're very memorable. Story's ace. How it's shot is really cool. If you're like a big fan of all that sort of cinema wank, like, ooh, look at that angle, then I'm sure you'll like it.
Look at that transition.
Look at
That's
that,
quite a common
look at that
one,
transition. Look at that intro. Every intro is good. The plot's really cool. Like it manages to balance all these characters together in a nice way. And this last episode has a bit of backstory about like I guess the main protagonist, I guess you'd say. But it was done in a really cool way, and I just can't get enough of the show. And I'm sad that it's ending in like a matter of weeks.
Don't worry, mate. There'll be a film in about 5
Well, it was
going to
be a film actually, but it ended up getting picked up by USA Today, which I think I've told you this before. But it's funny because if you're in the UK, Channel 5, right? You know Channel 5. Fucking can't pay, we'll take it away and all that. Well, USA Today, I think that's what it's called, the USA Network or whatever it is.
Just USA Network, I think, yeah.
Yeah, USA Today is like a show on there, right?
I think so, yeah.
USA Network is like the equivalent of Channel 5. Like, it's like quite a trashy channel. And it's like a USA original. So it's like, imagine if Channel 5 did Breaking Bad. It's just like really out of nowhere. And I don't want to say anything about it because it'll spoil it. But if you've not watched Mr. Robot, you're missing a trick, yeah? And I'm just trying to say it the same way I was saying about Breaking Bad when no one was listening to me until it came to Netflix. Just fucking watch Mr. Robot. Do yourself a favour.
It's on Amazon Prime.
It's on Amazon Prime. Catch it just before it ends, so then you can be there when it ends and be like, what?
You talk about Breaking Bad like it was like it's your idea. It was like it wouldn't have been successful in Britain without Jake.
No, it's just I just feel like it was so annoying because Breaking Bad was so exciting and so cool and it was doing really good stuff.
Yeah.
Around the time of The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones, but I was telling loads of people around me and no one was giving me the time of day with it. They were like, nah, mate, nah.
Who were you telling?
Trying to like everyone I worked with, everybody that I lived near, like all my mates.
What year was this?
This was in 2000 and what, like 13? Maybe earlier than that, even
2007, I think.
This was around 2013. Season 5 hadn't started, so it was season 4. So Gus Fring had just, and season 5 part 1 was starting, and it just got amazing.
I used to work at a HME, and then they were talking about it a lot in work, and then that's how I got onto it.
Yeah, I had there was this one.
It didn't exist in the UK outside like some DVD box sets until season 5
that you'd probably buy in
on
what,
Netflix.
say HMV. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just really frustrating because
it was like it was a deep cut in the UK.
Yeah,
because no channel showed it over here. I think they showed a few episodes on like ITV2 once.
There's no doubt
and then no one watched it.
Netflix got big off the back of it, really, didn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah. In the UK,
I'd say so, yeah. Because I had Netflix just before it because I think I used to use like Love Film and they gave me a trial or something, and I ended up keeping it because we shared it in our house, you know. And then now I've been on Netflix ever since. But it's like I just the reason I keep saying it is because it's like fucking now everyone's like, yeah, mate, Breaking Bad. What about it? Like what you just said then. It's like your idea or something. I'm thinking, you motherfucker. In 4 years, when they're selling Mr. Robot,
you just thought of me as a motherfucker. You think me a motherfucker?
You would have arrested him. You would have arrested him. No, but I'm saying in 4 years when they start selling fucking E-Corp t-shirts in Primark, and I'm like, fucking
I don't know if that would happen.
Don't be like
because it's available in the UK, isn't it? It's on Amazon. So it's not going to have that moment of like, oh, it's on a new streaming service where,
maybe.
I'll try this streaming service out. What is it? You pay a subscription, you stream it to your TV, and it's not going to have that.
Should, shouldn't it? Maybe we should fucking start one. Fucking
Amazon Prime just relaunch itself.
Amazon Prime 2.
It's a bad name, Amazon Prime Video.
Prime Video, yeah.
Yeah, because it's part of the Prime fucking conglomerate, isn't it? Prime Books.
It's bollocks
Prime
as well.
Movies.
Prime the irony of Amazon stocking Mr. Robot on their streaming service as well.
Yeah, exactly. Prime is good though, for £8 or whatever. What I don't like about Amazon Prime is that some things are part of the Prime umbrella, and some things aren't. Like, why do I get Twitch Prime? I get Twitch. I get Twitch Prime. Just said it twice. I don't get Audible, but I get like one free book on Audible a month with Prime or something like that. I get Prime Books, but only certain books. I get unlimited movies and TV. I get Prime Music, but only a certain. Like it's quite confusing. But for £8,
they got too many brands.
Yeah,
like because there's on Prime Video, there's things on there that you can subscribe to the fucking BFI player thing.
Add-on channels, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh,
and there's like Funimation or
it's
there's that one with all the Kardashians on it called like.
No, that's a different.
Hey You, is that different?
That's Sky, mate. Get your.
Oh right.
Yeah, it's just that's Now TV and
it's like
different.
Old-fashioned, like satellite TV where you have to pick different packages.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Because I just saw that on my Amazon TV Fire Stick thing. It says there's a new DC show, not Swamp Thing. It's another one, Pennyworth or something.
Oh yeah.
But
Yes, but you need to, is it like you need to subscribe to Stars to watch
that's
it?
what it is. But you need the bolt on, and it says like an Amazon Prime add-on app or something. It's called, and just by accessing. Just by paying for Amazon Prime, I get the ability to add this on, and it's like
It's bollocks.
It's like an extra £4 a month or whatever.
And then they have every fucking film ever on there, but if you want
a
rental, if you want to rent it for £3.50 or whatever.
YouTube does that. I wonder who's renting films on YouTube.
Don't know.
I know Google Play is quite popular, but I know that's technically separate from YouTube.
Google Play, that I guess because sometimes when you look, especially when looking for an old film, the first thing that comes even before like Rotten Tomatoes is like.
Google is so big that it has 2 separate video rental streaming services.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, I think if you buy a movie on Google Play, you can watch it on YouTube, or you can just watch it direct on Google Play.
Okay.
But I think most people watch it on Google Play because they don't want the YouTube compression to fuck up the movie.
It's like if McDonald's bought out Burger King, they'd keep the Whopper, isn't it? But it's like. Would they sell a Big Mac and
double cheese?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. A quarter pounder with cheese, doubled, but with bacon on. Yeah, it's. I guess it's because they keep buying too many things. But yeah, man. Like, listen. Speaking of massive companies buying loads of things, just watch Mr. Robot, man. I can't stress it.
It's so good.
It's fucking well good. Best TV I've seen all year.
Season 3 came out the same time as Twin Peaks came back, and Mr. Robot just edged out Twin Peaks for me. It's my favourite bit of TV that year.
And Liam's the fucking biggest
David Lynch nerd going, isn't it?
For Mr. Robot to edge out Twin Peaks, that's got to be good.
Yeah.
This season is good. Tell you what else is on TV though. Watchmen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's good. I like it.
It's the biggest HBO launch since Westworld, which doesn't feel like that important. But it has been a good couple of years since Westworld started.
Yeah.
I feel like that
it's
was
meant
like
to be coming back next year, isn't it, Westworld?
Well, I'd like to think so. They've just been building and building twists, and they've not been like resolving hardly anything. So you'd like to fucking think that they'll start.
It looks a bit cyberpunky, this one. So it's not actually set in Westworld. The next season of Westworld, it's just set in like the city,
right?
Of like I don't know, whatever futuristic New York or whatever. And Alan Paul's the lead character.
So there was a Westworld movie, and there was a sequel to that,
Future World,
right? But this isn't set in Future World.
No, it's just like your average American city.
Do you know is that going to turn out to be Future World? Fuck
it.
Think of that.
Future World, the prequel, just modern world.
Yeah.
But I watched Westworld season 1 intently.
So did I.
Followed every
liked it.
Every little Lost-esque plot twist.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot.
Season 1 I liked a lot. Season 2 not so much.
It ended a bit. You know what I mean? It set itself up for too much. Like it teased that there was different worlds and shit, and then so season 2,
shite.
My problem with season 2 was it was like the writers looked online and they're like, well, all these Reddit communities, they guessed our plot lines, so let's just make it needlessly complicated because we don't want people to guess.
That's
what's
what
happen.
It is. I feel like they're trying to get too many steps ahead of too many people.
That's what it felt like.
Because Westworld did have its big twist spoiled.
People
in the
guessed
pilot.
it,
Straight away, yeah. It was like the top of the TV or movie TV subreddit, and then that's it, boom. And then they must have been pissed off about that because then like Vulture and all these other fucking like Digifix and all these
reporting on fan theories.
Oh, this fan theory could be the secret to the maze in Westworld, and it was right. And it's the sort of thing that, you know, like I said again, like if Lost came out now, the same thing would have happened then.
You almost feel like if you're going to do 10 episodes or something, you almost can't write like that because you can't, because people, there's going to be so many fan theories, one of them's going to be right. You know what I mean?
It's smugness, isn't it? It's the writers being smug, and we can hide this in plain sight. And they're not as clever as they think they are, or they are very clever, but there's also someone out there who's equally as clever, some sort of fucking Moriarty to Sherlock out there, fucking shit up.
Of the billions of people in the world, there's going to be someone who thinks on the same wavelength as the writers.
The whole conversation exists on the level of like, well, what is the twist going to be, and rather than like, well, how good is the story? Like, why am I watching the characters?
Well, that's the thing. It's like with Mr. Robot, right? They've just introduced a potential big twist that's been like there the whole time. And Sam Esmail, the writer of the show, said it's been there since episode 1, and everyone's trying to figure it out. Everyone's scrambling.
Yeah, they're going back and watching it, trying to
figure out what
trying
this
to
big
piece
twist.
it together.
Because it, by the way, Mr. Robot has a big twist in season 1 that changes how you see everything, but it doesn't really then there's not a big twist every season, and it's like trying to figure out the little Rubik's Cube of the season. Whereas Westworld, I think like that. Like I feel like it was like, how are they going to twist this even further?
Yeah, which is that the point? Or did people really get loads out of Game of Thrones because Hodor was fucking holding a door all along, or because it was a really interesting fantasy universe with? Do you know what I mean? Like it does. Well, if you're worrying more about the twist and where it's going to go, is that why? That's not. I don't think that's a good enough motivation to keep people watching. And
it does work small scale. I think like when you're watching like those classic like murder mystery shows like Midsummer Murders and stuff like that, you're watching that to figure out what happens, but your investment is like 1 hour. It's not like
that shouldn't be the focal point. That shouldn't be the conversation around it. And the writers, this is what I mean, the writers certainly should not be focusing on that above and beyond like character development and plot development and stuff.
Not for 10 hours. Right? Do you know what I mean? Like,
not for any reason. I don't think just because people are guessing what the outcome is online, you should be then going, all right, well, we'll fucking see about that. Yeah. And then trying to...
Unless it's a murder mystery for an hour, because that's the thing, that is the focal point. No one's watching Miss Marple for the character
Midsummer Murders,
and Midsummer Murders. They're watching it to try and figure it out, to try and sing it. But that's the thing, people are coming in with this fucking Agatha Christie mentality, and to like a 10-hour, 20-hour, 30-hour story and figure it out. So that's why I'm interested in Mr. Robot, to see if they can pull off a twist. It's like, because the whole thing isn't like building up to what happened where Lost was, right? It was like, what will happen, what's happened on the island, what's the secrets of the island, the secrets. Every season building and building and building and building, and at the very end it told you. Mr. Robot is not like that. That's what's interesting. Westworld, it was cool. There was a big massive twist at the end, but it was a bit lost, I thought, Westworld, because it was like, what does the labyrinth mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? Who's the mysterious man in black? So I don't know if I'm going to watch this Westworld season 3.
I'm not going to. I mean, I watched, I think, 2 episodes of season 2, and I just...
Season 2 is one of the most unsatisfying shows ever.
Yeah.
So it was trying 100%. To be too clever.
It was,
but that's what happens, isn't it? When you think, well... I'm not going to worry about what this character's doing and why they're doing it and where they're going. I'm just going to try and keep people guessing and try and give them a puzzle to unwrap. But that's like, you're not going to get a good show out of that, are you? No. You're going to get lost.
But speaking of Lost, Watchmen, made by Damon Lindelof, who also made Lost.
Which is what we was on about. Yeah, Watchmen. So Watchmen's like
that's not even a segue. That's Liam doing his fucking best to bring us
back on track
to where we
we're trying to derail the train. Train to Busan the game.
The Train to Busan video game.
Yeah, the official licensed video game. So Watchmen is like, Liam, can you explain like what the fuck it is? Because I read it was a successor, it's a sequel, it's a reimagining, is it a sequel to the spin-off, is it a sequel to the sequel? What is it in comparison?
It's a spin-off to the sequel.
Let's assume that you've watched just the film. That's it.
Alright, so if you've watched just the film, the show might not make a lot of sense to you because it takes a few parts of the film, not all of them. It mainly continues on from the original comic book, which came out in the 80s. In fact, I actually bought the big international edition of the comic to read it again because of the show. And it's a little bit based off as well. There was a sequel comic book to Watchmen made not that long ago by just Dave Gibbons, not Alan Moore, because he refuses to do sequels.
He's on a magic bender at the moment.
And and that comic was called Doomsday Clock, and that seems to be where the show Watchmen is taking a lot of its inspiration. So it's mostly a sequel to the comic, bit of an adaptation of the sequel comic. Yeah. And a little pinch of the movie thrown in there just for good measure.
Enough, then. It is as confusing as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, it's a reimagining. Because I was watching it with my wife and she's like, watched the film once. Didn't really like it. It was dead long. Blah, blah, blah. I love it. I love the film. And I'm aware of the book. I started reading it. And then I just like synopsis the ending. Because I wanted to find that. Because it was just... A lot of it was what I already knew.
The movie is almost a panel for panel recreation of the book up until the end.
Yeah, which changes...
Where it diverges heavily.
Exactly. And so the ending makes sense... the ending makes sense of one scene or two of this first episode of this new series, which kind of has an alien invasion, basically. Now, it's like my wife said, it's like American Gods in the sense that it's like very vignette-y, very like
throws you into this like world with a lot going on.
And fuck you if you don't know who Ozymandias is.
Yeah.
And fuck you if you don't know about the alien invasion. And fuck you if you don't know who Dr. Manhattan
Why
is.
are these people all wearing weird masks?
Yeah, and is that Night Owl's spaceship? Who's Night Owl? Fuck you. It's a lot like that, right?
A lot, yeah.
It's got a bad attitude, this program.
Have you seen the film? So, like, again, it's a bit of a tough one because we don't want to talk about the ins and outs of it because, well, funnily enough, you might not know this or not. I don't know. Mike's probably not too proud of it, to be fair, but Mike was in a bit of this Watchmen, yeah, last year.
Laura was there for a full week.
Laura was there
for a week.
Yeah, so Mike's wife was there doing, like, double work.
Good. Yeah.
For the main...
For, like, it was, like, a whole week of, like, long days as well. So we kind of knew about this before they even, like, properly announced it, and we knew, like...
Because they filmed a bit of it just down the road, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So unless this is breaking NDA, in which case, we're only joking. We didn't know anything. Yeah, so we... like, for that reason, I know Laura wants to see it, but you haven't seen it yet either. You two are going to probably watch it. You're looking forward to it greatly. I can imagine. What did you think of the film?
It's a bit ambivalent, really. There were some things I really liked, but then very much like the TV show stuff. I just didn't, that you're saying about the TV show. I just didn't. I didn't read the comic and that. And I know people who aren't comic book fans and fucking love the film. Like a couple of my close friends who I definitely would not. They're like definitely not in the target audience of this YouTube channel.
Yeah,
and they love it. And they really like the film. I don't.
Yeah. The comic was long considered unfilmable because of how.
In fact, that's a big quote, isn't it?
Because of like how dense it is and how many different messages it's got layered in it.
Zack Snyder, isn't it?
It was Zack Snyder.
I liked it. I was like the right age for it. I was at the age where Cyberpunk 2077 would have been up my street because it said it was mature. There was tits in it and loads of swearing, and it's like, oh, I'm a grown up now, which is exactly what Watchmen was like. It's like, it's edgy, boys, get ready. I was like right at the age where like I'd seen the Incredible Hulk, the Eric Bana one, and was like, I'm over this now. And then all of a sudden, Rorschach was fucking killing fucking everybody, chainsaw and hands off and shit. And I was like, oh, superheroes can be cool.
I've always been like this thing of like, sort of cynical, I guess. So it's like, you
were born as a 55-year-old man.
Yeah, so I'm like, just don't fucking try and be cool around me, mate. All right, and then that's what the film is sort of doing a little bit. There's some, but like I said, there's some like ideas in there that I really like.
Some really good sci-fi ideas, and the general premise of everybody's at war with everybody else forever, down to if there was two people on the planet and the only thing that can bring people together is a common enemy, is cool, very primitive psychology that is true as fuck, and like it's pretty much that. Everybody's at war with everybody else forever. So that big scheme, turning that into a big plot point of the film and the comics, is my favourite thing about it. I like that. I like that that's the only way humanity could be at peace, So I like the budget. I like the way this is pretty slick. When you watch this, you'll like the transitions are very slick. It's very clever.
No, you're big on transitions. You guys, based on what I can hear from what you're saying, you are editing boys, right? And I'm more film wank angle, right? So I'm definitely more like, I like where they've put the camera there. Which is maybe why I'm sure you do, Liam. We're all students of film, right? But all I'm saying is that you boys both go for the editing first in conversations, okay? And I'm definitely, I like a good transition as well. That's what I'm saying, Liam. Like, we're all students of film. We're brothers of the silver screen, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's definitely a Far Cry faction.
Remind me to fucking fill out my annual membership form. I need to update my subscription. Yeah.
But so I know you're big on the transitions and that, and that's like, that's cool. but
it's shot slickly. I'm interested to see what you think. But that's what's a shame about you not watching Mr. Robot, because I'm really interested to see how you think it's filmed, because it's like, I actually care about your opinion more than Chris Tuckman.
Oh, thanks, mate.
But it's very well.
I do want
to
watch it. I do want to watch Mr. Robot. Yeah.
Like weird tracking shots. Like they've clearly mounted the camera to something weird and then followed. I'm just interested to see.
Some of the best shots, right, you'll ever watch ever, right? I'm not fucking joking.
It's going to be a nature documentary.
Steven Spielberg.
Oh yeah,
Steven motherfucking Spielberg.
Yeah, okay.
Is the king. Doesn't get the love he deserves. Jurassic Park. There's some shots in that he does like depth panning or something. Like,
I mean, he pretty much invented the template for the modern blockbuster film, really, didn't
right,
he?
well, this is Stephen. Right, we're going to go into a Steven to film conversation here.
Okay.
But all I'm saying is,
Bring out your cloaks.
right?
Everybody
There's a bit where a dinosaur has done a big shit. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Triceratops, if I remember rightly.
Very good.
Yeah.
Without being a film wank at all, Steven Spielberg has shown you the fucking, the guy that everyone loves,
Jeff Goldblum, with shades, takes his shades off. That's a big pile of shit. The camera, without cutting, comes back. You see someone else, and they've got something to say. The camera comes back again. Another guy, they got something to say, and then you see the Triceratops having a bit of a breathe. He's had a lot of fun there with a dinosaur that's had a big shit, and he's revealed 3 different reactions. Yeah.
By bringing not panning
Without
or
a
not,
single camera cut.
not cutting, he's just brought the camera
see.
back. Fucking beautiful. But you don't hear about that, do you? It's all about the Tyrannosaurus Rex, isn't it? It's all about the big model.
There's goat limbs everywhere, is there? Yeah, well, I can't speak about that to Watchmen because it's very flashy in CGI, and that's the thing I think that a lot of people who care about filmmaking just go, well, with that budget, I'm sure anyone could make anything look good. But they start with a bit of racial genocide, the worst racial attack in
American
history.
Became a big conversation point, didn't it?
Which is
because
funny,
of this.
yeah, because statistically, the biggest attack, apart from when the Native Americans got done in by the English like hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So apart from the indigenous people getting absolutely massacred, the other biggest one that people are okay to talk about is in 1920s when a black Wall Street just got fucking absolutely slammed by racists. And it's a huge, huge, huge part of American history that films haven't really done much about. Like you can look it up. Like hardly anyone on the medium. Like, it surprises me that it hasn't been spoken about before. But they start with that because Watchmen's kind of shtick thing is that they have this alternate history. So like the film had this cool montage of all the different bits, like the
set to Bob Dylan, right?
Yeah. Times they were changing or something. And
I think so, yeah.
Putting fucking flowers.
But what if
guns.
they fired instead?
Yeah, exactly. So, but this is actually just.
What if America won Vietnam?
Exactly. This is all like alternate history, but this is just a bit of real history. Shot very flashy,
quite brutally.
Brutal.
It's quite frank about the horribleness that went on.
Yeah, big CGI explosions, though, isn't there? Buildings collapsing. But they spared no expense. To quote Jurassic Park, Steven Spielberg. Sometimes it works, and I like it when I get it right. But that was a good one.
Spent so much time worrying about whether or not they could. They didn't stop to think whether or not they should. That's one of the best quotes ever, mate.
Yeah,
just one up in each other with quotes.
Yeah, Jurassic Park, mate. It's a fucking banger.
It's a great film.
Do you know what? That's the film I watch at Christmas all the time as well.
Good film.
I tell you this all the time.
It's on TV a lot at Christmas.
For some reason, it's always on Christmas Day, so I'm always watching it on Christmas. But yeah, Watchmen's good. It's very flashy. It's not as it's edgy, sure, but it's edgy in a. It feels like a very contemporary way. White supremacy is a big part of the story, which is edgy these days.
It's trying to draw parallels to problems today, especially issues in American society.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel too forced. So like Peaky Blinders was just on recently, right? So Peaky Blinders, the British TV show on the BBC about people.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Like gypsy haircuts,
street gangs
in like the 20s and shit. But recently, there was a recent season that's just gone on, and I think it just really fell flat. And it was really trying to do this whole like Donald Trump is the bad guy thing in the 1920s. So there's a fascist who was a real life fascist.
Yeah.
But the way that he's talking about the fake news media and stuff, I was like, pick and choose your battles.
Felt a bit hammy and
it was
Peaky Blinders.
it felt so insincere.
Well, I haven't seen it, so I'm sure they did do that badly. But that's what is scary, is that he did say a lot of the same shit. That's what's scary. But I'm sure I haven't seen it, so maybe they did it badly.
The way that it was done is very. Yeah, we get it, guys, because of course it's like a big talking point at the moment. But it's like, how well is this going to age? When he did say that in real life, him being whatever his name is, Oswald Mosley. But the way it feels like an attack on Trump rather than fucking Oswald Mosley. So. But this handles this whole thing going on in America in real life right now
much better, does it?
Very well. and still makes it feel separate enough.
Just through the lens of superheroes.
Yeah. So I feel like, you know,
that's what. If
And
that's
again,
what seems
that's
to
what
be
the
what a lot
orig-
of people connecting with at the moment is superheroes, isn't it? So why
and
not?
To be fair, that's what the original Watchmen comic was about.
Yeah.
That was about like societal problems
Cool.
in 80s America, just told through this superhero stories.
Yeah.
So for that, if that is the essence of what Watchmen is about, the first episode does a fucking very good job of like compiling all of that, but then rebranding it in this new way. The only problem I've got with it is like, is it really friendly for people who maybe haven't caught on with the Zack Snyder movie and they want to start now? It's not a good starting point.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool for people like me and Liam maybe, but like...
I think like they do it deliberately so though, because as the day after this like episode aired, HBO put up a website that has like loads of supplemental material about the goings on in the world of the Watchmen.
Yeah.
And so like it's a full history and everything.
There's no question that the vast majority of people are going to watch it. Like just anecdotally, people in my work and stuff, that loads of people watching it who have not seen the film even. So not to mention the fucking comic book. So there's going to be the vast majority of the audience is going to be unaware of the film. Maybe they'll watch the film now. Maybe they'll be interested in seeing the film.
The fact that
a lot of people see big budget HBO show with superheroes, gotta watch it.
A lot of people just watch whatever the next TV series is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, just, I'll watch
the
that.
robot.
That's the next big one.
It's HBO's biggest show now after Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Like, what else? They haven't got anything on that Game of Thrones level, apart from maybe Watchmen.
Exactly. So I'm interested to see if they can, like, over the next few episodes, are they going to be starting telling stories with, like, expositional flashbacks?
Yep.
Or do
Maybe.
they really just not care about doing that?
It does throw you in the deep end from the very beginning.
Yeah.
This first episode.
That's true, you know. Again, having not seen it, it could be that they're just setting stuff up and then they're going to cast you. Because I think the film does that a fair bit,
Yeah.
doesn't it? So
It does.
it could be
It
following that
starts
kind
with
of
the
structure.
comedian.
Quite a lot of flashbacks, yeah.
Yeah.
Comedian's gone mad. You don't know why, and then eventually you find
Yeah.
that out, right? So it's got a lot of that about
Yeah.
what happened back then. But it just starts with like this, like 60-year time skip. I can't remember.
It
It's
goes
like
from
the 1920s.
1921 to 2019.
Oh, so a
So
massive old time.
Yeah,
skip.
Right.
It's like it's clear that it's meant to be contemporary society
Yeah.
from the from the time skip really.
Yeah.
But an alternate reality. So Watchmen's pretty cool. I'd say that it's got good potential to be like a total slammer for HBO. But that's what I'm wondering about, like for new people.
Yeah.
TV's entering like the next fucking gear now, isn't it?
next
Of like
phase, yeah.
just money, just ploughing cash into these
Personally,
huge
I was
productions.
hooked from the first episode.
That's good.
I'm looking
That's-
forward to the next one. Like
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Which is not long. It's like by the time this has gone out, episode 2 will be out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested as well. HBO as usual, bringing a budget and fucking
Still proving they're the kings of it, really.
yeah.
Never mind
So-
Apple coming
I
at
was
them,
about to
Disney
say-
coming
I
at
was
them.
about to say,
That's
you know,
Apple one's going to be interesting.
Apple's
They
interesting.
got a good production company attached to that. Who knows? That could be fucking amazing.
They've got like 5 shows already lined up.
One of
for
them's
the
a,
launch.
one of them's a Band of Brothers fucking sequel. Pacific
yeah.
Oh,
sequel.
that's what I was talking about. Yeah, sorry. If they get a good, it doesn't matter who's paying the bills, does it? If they get a good production team making that,
They've already
could be
got
amazing.
loads of big names like signed to contract.
Yeah.
Spielberg being one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we already
Even
know
though
how
he-
good he is at doing them,
Exactly. If
that
there's any
camera
dinosaurs
working.
in it, might be
The irony being not just before Steven Spielberg came out at the Apple keynote and said, "I'm making a show for Apple Plus, whatever it's called." He was slagging off Netflix,
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
only to come out. Well,
Yeah.
maybe it was a PR thing of him.
Just
Yeah.
like how
Netflix
Scorsese
bad.
was.
So yeah.
Go
Yeah.
Apple.
Yeah, just like Scorsese slacking off Marvel, but then being like an executive producer on Joker. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like conspiracy theorist, or is that a bit of a fucking thing? You know?
I think he wasn't an executive producer by the end. They only put him on because of how similar Joker was to Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, and they needed his permission, so he'd say, "Yes, I will not sue you for plagiarism." I think that was why.
Well, that's better.
But then Bradley
that's better
Cooper's an executive producer of it for some reason.
What the fuck? But
He's fucking best motherfucking director on the planet, man. Bradley Cooper.
I'll watch his next film. Star is Born was good.
Are you joking? I'm watching every film he's gonna make for the rest of his
Star
life.
is Born
He's
was
earned
one
it.
hell of a debut.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking slammer.
Yeah. How about that, eh? Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper and
you got-
Watchmen's good.
You got anything else for me, boys? You got any games that we haven't mentioned in the podcast that you've been playing?
Oh, I'll tell you what I wanted to quickly mention. Yeah, that Legends of Runeterra. Have I mentioned this or not?
Not in the
Sort of a
podcast.
little bit, but not really.
I'll tell you what. Right, I was
Passing
I was
mention.
looking for a good card game recently. I've been playing Plants vs Zombies Heroes a little bit.
Yeah,
rejigging it. They've stopped adding updates and stuff to the game like 3 years ago. The game's dead, but I've got a soft spot for it. Sean likes it, so we've been playing it. I've always wanted to play Hearthstone. I did when it first came out. Dropped off it, went back into it, got absolutely mullered by like South Korean billionaires who have spent millions on decks, right?
Yep.
Millions and millions. And then it feels like fucking
probably on their yacht, right? Pricks.
On their fucking yacht with Wi-Fi on there. And then Magic the Gathering. I played that quite a bit recently, physically like. But I want to look at a little. Oh, and Magic the Gathering Arena's out in that, but again, it's not as good as the real thing. But then, yeah, these lot, Riot Games, Legends, League of Legends, and that's the game. They were making this fucking halfway house in between Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone. It's completely new. They've taken the RNG element out, so you can build your decks by buying things. Seems like a good proposition to me. No RNG elements in a card game. Isn't that interesting? So you can just focus on the strategy and deck building and things like that. And then they've just popped this game out. It's not quite out yet. You've got to either be invited to the super exclusive little fucking Illuminati early access, which I have been, or play it in an event, which I did as well. And let me just fucking say, right, I can see this being big. I can see this being like esport big, basically, which is interesting because Hearthstone's got a bit of a tournament, but Riot are going to push this, and I just wanted to put that out there now just for fun. Max hits the points, because when this game comes out, it's going to fucking bang. It's good as well, and it'll be free. So just
very good, very nice.
Awesome.
I've been playing a bit of Return of the Obra Dinn, as I mentioned last week, on my Switch. Still finished it. I fucking love it. I fucking love it. It's just, it's so good. It's so good. It's such a simple game. It's such a simple premise. It's just come out on consoles, which is why I'm playing it. Yeah. It came out on PC about 10 years ago, but
I think it was like 2017. Yeah. In case you guys want some of the real date.
Yeah, it looks like it came out on PC about 40 years ago, but that's very deliberate. Yeah, that's no joke. Like, you can choose what kind of aesthetic you want, like Macintosh or whatever. Like, you can choose your.
Or a Game Boy Green.
I don't think that
it pretty much is sepia.
It basically
the whole thing is like that colour, yeah.
But anyway, so it's like a first-person sort of mystery detective game, which you're on this boat that has sort of reappeared after having been disappeared for a very long time. You got a book and you got a little magic compass thing, magic timekeeping watch thing. And you basically have to piece together what's happened on this boat. If anyone has died, what happened to them, who they were, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But it just goes down this rabbit hole of very interesting stuff, and it's fucking amazing. It's so good. It's so good.
And it's about 14 megabytes or something.
Yeah. I'm so annoyed that I didn't play it on PC. I'm really angry with myself.
You can't win them all. You can't win them all. It's the Mr. Robot effect. That's what I say. You want to get in there on day one, so you can be like, that was me. You know what I mean? Obra Dinn.
I don't care about that, though. Maybe I watched Mr.
You didn't care about Obra Dinn 2 years ago, mate, but you can look at you now. Clamouring for one bit. So, you know what I mean? I'm interested to see what the big pick of indie games is this year. Because I think...
As in 2020?
2019.
Oh, so what is going to be...
But Obra Dinn was winning awards in 2017.
Yeah.
Because it was a good game. I think it was up against Firewatch and shit like that, see? If I remember rightly. I think...
Are you sure it wasn't last year?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Because I think it was up against something like Firewatch, right?
Right.
Or something. And it lost out a lot. I think it won, like, sound design and visual art or something like that.
This is what's annoying. It did
win Best Story because it lost out to, like, Firewatch. I'm pretty sure.
That's bollocks, man. It gets so much love for the aesthetics and how it looks. And the sound design is really good. The visuals are very, very interesting. But it's a whole like recipe, man. It's like I was reading up about it, and the guy who made it took him like 4 years or something.
Lucas Pope. He's the guy that Papers, Please, isn't he?
Yeah. But Jesus Christ, if it takes 4 years to make a game that good, who cares?
Did you read this little quote that like says on like the next game he wants to make? He wants to be able to have it so people could play it on a watch. He wants to make really
text adventure or something. I mean,
he wants to make really small games, and that's the thing. He wanted to make this a small game. That's why it was aesthetically the way it was. It wasn't designed to be like a gimmick. He just wanted to make a very, very small game. People browse a game or something, and it ended up.
But giving you that like limited, it's like limited information. So then, like, 4 dots on the screen become really, really important because there isn't that many dots on the screen.
It's video game minimalism, isn't it? Really, done in a very cool
Definitely
way.
Is.
So I'm interested to see what like the standout indie game of this year is.
There's some good stuff.
I try and keep an eye on it, but it's like I don't know. I want to say that like Baba Is You will be the indie one this year. That's my choice.
Mm-hmm.
Not my choice personally, but what I think people will say.
Yeah.
Disco Elysium is obviously
Probably that, isn't it?
Yeah. Children of Mortar I like.
Yeah.
I really think
Bloodstained was technically an indie.
Yeah. I don't think. Yeah, I wonder if that'll win anything. Should do.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Good game.
It'll be Disco, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. But it's not got that like it still looks pretty nice, high budget. But Obra Dinn doesn't. Oh, we just blacked out.
Yep. End of podcast.
Is that actually the end? Guys, it's just me, Jake. Everyone else has gone home. And I just wanted to say we appreciate you being here. Thank you for sticking around for another bonus podcast. This one had a bit of everything in there. Burgers and stuff and TV and film and games. Thank you very much. Listen.
Just say goodbye.
All right, bye.